crap.
Let's hear from that
Oh, Halloween.
Halloween thing. Oh, that was our Halloween cast we lost.
Yes. Oh, man. Welcome back to National Players Club Garage Pod. Sorry about last week, folks. I actually ran into a ton of technical difficulties. Finally got it figured out. I think we're not going to have any more problems for the rest of the season. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Exactly.
The wrong one.
It worked, though. So
We'll take it.
we lost our Halloween podcast, which was actually probably one of our better casts of the season, too.
It was pretty cool.
You know what? We should redo that.
With all
We
the-
should just
with all
redo
the
that.
hat changes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was actually, we had our pumpkins out and
Yeah.
all our decorations and everything.
I think I changed
We went all
costumes
out.
every segment.
Yeah, we went all out. It was a good time, but unfortunately, again, like I said, we lost it, and it's mostly due to my technical prowess.
I learned a lesson that week. Don't drink wine and Jägermeister. Oh, God, it was a
Grape juice
hangover.
and Jaeger.
That was a terrible hangover the next day.
Not bad.
So we're back going into week 10. We're going to recap week 9, and unfortunately, about week that gives us what 3 more weeks after this week for our regular
this
season.
one's
Four weeks total counting this week. So
A regular season.
Yeah, a regular season. So that means get your wins in while you can.
And two more matchups of the opposing division, and then we go back home for the last 2 for a playoff run.
which means I can get redemption against Brandon.
Yes. Good luck with that.
Which means you have to play Brandon again.
But so jumping in, we're jump right into week 9. So what do we have happening in week 9?
Let's do. We got. We'll start off. Mine just happens to be up top. East Coast Meat Puppets at the 4th spot after last week at 5-4. Took it down. Gordo Mania at 116, 122. He also.
I'm sorry.
Did you like that?
I like that.
I take care of my business in the South. I've actually been pulling up double wins in there.
It's my
so
first
4-4.
loss out of the North. I don't
Garrett
know.
Hartley got him 30 points. I mean, there's not really much to talk about here. Everyone kind of did what they were supposed to do. Gordo actually put up decent numbers. I put up decent numbers. Rivers.
Yeah, your benches didn't look
Owen
too bad.
Daniels did leave 17 points on the bench, which would have been, I think, a swing. Like 10 points, yeah, it would have been a swing.
Yeah, but would you? I don't know that I would have started Owen Daniels over Tony Gonzalez. Tony
Yeah,
Gonzalez is
and
like
actually,
top
Gordo and
3
I,
tight end.
we
Tony
had,
Gonzalez is on a 7-0 team, now 8-0 thanks to the Cowboys.
and Gordo and I had this conversation about it, and I agreed with everybody with what we were talking about. You know, I think Tony Gonzalez was the start for that week over Owen Daniels, just because they're going against, the Cowboys, bad team,
I think it's
7-0.
just what he's been doing against whoever he's playing. He's
Yeah.
actually been really consistent all year long, so it wasn't any.
You have a lot of Cowboys hate.
Hey, I got my hater.
There are worse teams out there, and he's like, bad team.
I got my hater age.
There are 1-7. Let's see, Jacksonville and Kansas City, but they're not a bad team. Dallas is a bad team. It's just Cowboys hate.
Bad coaching, bad general manager.
Hey, your stellar run defense let Chris Johnson and the Titans run all over him, but that's okay.
Cutler actually had a decent game on the bench, put 21 points, 3 touchdowns, 229 in yards. I mean, not that I'm starting and we're actually deciding it, but it was just kind of every time I look down, Cutler's not really doing anything. The one week I needed him was the week before against Brand,
Yeah.
and that didn't happen. And apparently we lost our podcast, so sorry about you.
Brandon's one win against you. He doesn't get credit in it.
Yeah, and we talked. We actually, we threw it
Oh,
out there.
my God. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and this week, you two, and then
Oh.
Bernie jumping in, my phone went dead twice. Once on the charger.
Yeah, we're all sending Brandon our phone bills for Christmas
So,
as receipts.
no, y'all had a good game. I mean, everybody showed up the way they were supposed to and played. I mean, there were probably a couple
Close
of
game. Close game.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that you thought was supposed to do. Also, deciding factor for me, Gates actually showed up on Thursday night.
Yes,
so
he
that was
did.
a good start. And it was odd because some of the things we talked about last week was the fact that his quarterback was throwing to my tight end on Thursday night. Come Sunday, my quarterback was throwing to both his tight end and his wide receiver.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of kind of like cross the side drama on that.
And with them not burning Dallas, like somebody said they would. Oh, I so wish I could have kept that way to go back. Oh, your Dallas is going to get burned.
But really, I'll take it. I needed that win.
There
I'm
it
trying to fight to try and make third spot in the North there.
Oh, my girl.
No, because the thing is, your girl actually, her team actually showed up this week. They actually had a decent matchup. Tree put up 111 against Bernie's 133. Bernie's sitting in the number 1 spot at 6-3.
And you know what? Trudy was looking good until I saw Lance Moore light up, and I went, what?
Yeah, got him too.
How did that happen? I didn't see that. like the day before.
Oh, there's another player.
Yeah, right.
She's sneaky that way. She is so sneaky that way. You know, up until game time, she will make that last-minute decision. And
you know what? Brandon and Bernie were sending texts back and forth about the no kicker situation. No kickers were being good luck and all that. And I was like, you know, come to think of it, Trudy's only win was with no kicker against Kevin.
Well, obviously, I was going to go with the whole.
And Brandon kind of just missed it. Brandon just missed it. He goes, nah, it's Kevin, who actually turned around and won that week, or this week. So,
No, she put up decent numbers, but she is sitting at 1-8, so she's almost becoming fantasy irrelevant at this point. But
she can play spoiler.
yeah,
At
don't bail. Keep playing. You know, play for the win. Make
like
trades.
spoiler.
Make trades to build your team for next year. Just so long as they're not so one side of the league, grotesque that it has to come into question.
It didn't know it. I actually put it before y'all before we actually posted the trade. I did the
I don't remember what it was last year, but it was
she got Matt Stafford and
suspect.
somebody else for Marion Barber and a wide receiver, and I still didn't make the playoffs.
Saints defense. Saints don't have a defense.
They did
You
this week.
get excited when any of your fantasy players are playing against the Saints. Saints put up 40 points last week.
I know, it was ridiculous.
I'm bringing his bench, mind you, but it was still 40 points.
Yeah.
Well, they did get their defensive coordinator back. They did get some key players back that had been suspended.
And it doesn't help that Vic can't hold on to a ball when he gets hit.
True. That 99-yard touchdown.
Yeah, you had 99-yard defensive touchdown, pick six.
Pick 6 from the other end. That's sad.
And I think at some point there needs to be a stat that goes against the quarterback that throws a pick 6 for 99 yards.
50-yard or more pick 6 is a double 6.
That goes on the rest of your players. They can't stop them on the way back.
Oh, and Vic did get a penalty on that.
Yeah, a chop block.
Chop block.
Because the kid that ran it back was going, man, now what? They were showing it. He thought it was against the Saints. It turned out it was against Vic. That was hilarious.
Chris Johnson showed up for 22 points.
Calvin Johnson.
I'm sorry, Calvin Johnson. D-Jack showed up for 27. The Lions defense were a bit of a nightmare. I'm sure you're glad you got him back now. Steelers are halfway decent. Like nothing other really to talk about there other than I know Rodgers did what Rodgers does. Now he's on to a bye, so we'll get into that in the upcoming matchups for next week. But not going to be there. But yeah, that was it's about where we're ranging now. You get about 100 to about 130 points. Then you'll have that kind of freak blow up player.
Like last week.
Yeah. Everyone's had at least one or two.
Trudy has it. Oh, no, Trudy did. She got...
43 is a magic number. Everyone's had a 43 player at least like once in a week for the last 4 weeks, and then there's...
I think I had a 30 out of my defense early this year, so...
I've had a 30 out of my defense.
I think Eric has 30 out of Chicago's defense.
Yeah. 50 out of it 1 week. That was ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, Trudy had a... Jamal Charles actually show up at the beginning of the season. Broke off that almost 200-yard game, 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Incidentally, Bernie and Erica keep switching that 1 and 2 spot, kind of like you two.
And Mike is sneaking up on him now. He's right there in the run.
Yeah, and then you guys have B on your guys' tail too.
Hey, son of a baby.
Moving on.
You can have him back next year.
We'll have a division just for Brandon.
Yeah, the bastard division.
Total chaos and a road rash.
I had a combined total of 116 going into the game. I had him by 12 points, and I prayed to God LaShawn McCoy did not get the carries that he got. They were whenever it was 21-3, I went, there's no way they're going to pound it on the ground. What'd they do? Continuously on the ground. And they kept handing it to Brown, which I was going, oh, thank God for Brown, thank God for Brown. And then,
but McCoy's a beast. And he was magical in that game. I got to watch that game and how he was busting out the tackles and just going for yardage. I mean,
there was
play after play.
There was a 5-tackle break on a sprint for the 1-yard line. I don't think he ever got in the end zone. But he got broke 5 tackles, went 30-something yards. He broke 4 tackles, went 20-something yards. He broke 3 tackles, went another 20-something yards, another 4 tackles. I mean, the Saints could not get a hold of this guy to save their life.
And there was the one play where he actually dragged like 5 guys on his back.
Dragged 4 of them 6.5 yards before he fell.
I referenced the magic number 43, and I said we can go back and look at it, but I guarantee you at least once every week for the last 4 weeks we've had a 43 player.
Yeah.
That's actually been an exciting fact in everyone's game. The 43 player this week was Brandon Marshall.
Yep.
Exactly, 43 points. With Griffin out this week in Washington, we talked about the quarterback controversy starting off this year on his team. The fact that Griffin was doing what he was doing, was going to put Vic down on the bench, throwing picks and so on and so forth. Vic, surprisingly, in the last 2 weeks, although not stellar, has actually been performing halfway decently. He actually put up more points than Griffin, although Griffin was starting this week for him. Hartline put up 21. He's been kind of like that EKG where he's doing
been Andre Johnson. Up and down, up and down. 1 week it's good, next week not so good.
But it was enough. Incidentally, I got to hear you say it because I put a board bet last week over the Texans. You wanted the Texans.
31 points out of the San Diego Chargers, man.
Chargers.
Over and against Kansas City. I knew they were going to put up points, but as strong as Houston has been going up, who'd they go up against last week? Houston played.
Dallas, didn't it? Oh, no.
No.
I don't know.
See, they weren't even that important, and still couldn't put up 30 points. But
my understanding with that was the fact that basically Castle was their starting quarterback. They benched him for their backup because he was better. Their backup got hurt, and Castle had to come off the bench. And I'm like, that's just basically, they're just licking at their chops. So it was going to be at least one big play. I didn't expect 31 points.
But it didn't happen until the end of the game.
Yeah, his arm got tired. I don't know.
And you get 2 defensive touchdowns out of your defense.
Yeah. You tell it. I watched. I watched and cried.
And incidentally, you and Mike, actually Eric, you dropped down after her loss this week. She dropped down to third. I noticed that they kept switching first place, which they had been. But Mike just moved him to second, so he actually is tied with you
at 6-3.
At 6-3, and both of you guys are in the second spot in your respective divisions.
By 10 lousy points.
So it takes, how much time we got?
We got about 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes.
Get one more and
knock one more out. We've got well, let's knock this one out. Emerald City Lanes, the Naughty Gnomes.
Oh,
the now third place Naughty Gnomes, now the first place Emerald City Lanes by 10 points.
The 1 week she doesn't put up 140 points. He wins by 1 point.
1 point. That's not the only game we've had this
I know,
year.
I
won one too.
hey, not let it.
So you're sitting at 6-3 at his, tied with him for 6-3, but you do have points to push you to first place. Erica is still sitting on a lot of points, has moved down to 5-4, so it's kind of knocked her out of that top tier. And not that I can actually move up on her in point-wise, because she and I are actually tied at 5-4. But she had to put Wheaton in. Didn't really have a choice. Brady was off, and it took its toll.
Like I said, I'm
4 points off a quarterback.
I'm pretty sure that I have faced her when Brady's been on a bye for the past couple of years.
How do y'all get lucky like that? I can't catch anybody on
that. I get everybody. I get everyone's full strength. Adrian Peterson, nice showing. Again, he's
over 100 yards in the first quarter.
He's AP of all this year. He's pretty much every single week. Giants defense, nice performance out of them.
Nice defensive touchdown.
Bears defense on her side is basically like the Aaron Rodgers of defenses. I mean, you're getting 30-plus points from them every week, 38 points again.
They hit everything but a safety. I mean, you got 2 defensive touchdowns, 4 pick.
That's just because their kicker can't get them close.
4 fumble returns.
That's all that is.
Block punt. 5 forced fumbles. I mean, they hit everything on defense this week.
She's tearing her hair out that she didn't get in Michael LaShore.
See, and that's one thing I've noticed with her is the last couple of weeks she's kept LaShore on the bench. Matthew Stafford is not hitting Calvin Johnson or who's it, Titus Young for touchdowns. They're getting all the way to the edge, and Michael Shore is polishing it off. He's getting 2 and 3 touchdowns a game.
Yeah, 3 last week.
So I mean,
but it was 3 last week. It was a 7, a 1, and an 8. So it was basically again.
And that's what they've been doing all season long. It's been Michael Shore or who's the other kid? Bell at the goal line punching it in for Detroit to get their points on the board. It's not the normal throwing game that Stafford and the crew have been doing last couple of years.
It's been so bad that what they've been doing. And I dropped their receiver, Titus Young.
Titus Young, yeah. Because Titus Young is not the target for the yardage. It's actually still Calvin Johnson. but he's not in the end zone anymore. So
I think you definitely got lucky on that one, largely in part because if you're looking down, you obviously, I said Pearson got his, Johnson got his, Cam Newton was halfway decent, defense was halfway decent, but other than that, a lot of your players, look at 4
points,
nine.
Yeah. You got Macklin, who, and we talked about this before we did the podcast. I'm on the verge of dropping him, but I can't because, he has those games. And unfortunately,
4-point game to give you the win. That's not
when he has those stellar games, he's on my bench because he's EKG. And
you heard it here first. EKG stat. Up and down, up and down. I'm waiting for somebody to flatline.
But I did have Andre Johnson show up.
Yeah.
Which is good. I definitely needed that.
Like I said, the Whedon and the lack of a starting quarterback, Herter, Marshawn Lynch, and Decker have been solid. They're actually picking up momentum going into the playoffs. So you put Brady back in her lineup, and
she's a fighter.
She's deadly.
But if you good luck, Trudy. Flip that on there. She puts Brady in her lineup. I've got, Gronk. He's throwing touchdown passes to.
Yeah, but there's too many people for him to share that ball with.
That's Brady's security blanket.
Yeah, I think
we'll see.
Brady's security blanket.
We'll see. So stick around. We got a couple more matchups to deal with. Kevin's breaking more glass.
It's just a long window.
Yeah, it's a long way. Like, Dan's here.
You guys can't see it. I'm drinking one hand, drinking glass in the other, man.
We'll be back. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
Don't take it down. What?
Welcome back to National
Keep your lighter in your
Players
pocket.
The valuable lesson we learned during the break: keep your lighter in your pocket when you're dropping a
Good thing
deuce.
I'm
Yeah,
halfway
we'll
up
just
on it.
we'll just go there. We'll just
So,
leave it there.
We're going to finish up last week's matchups, probably BS a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe
because
start.
we've only got 2 here. Actually, you know what? Why
No,
don't
we only have one. Remember?
1.5.
One got lost.
One and a
One
half.
got lost. It mysteriously doesn't show
There's a
up.
matchup that shouldn't exist.
Well, we got. Why don't we go ahead and knock out these 2, and then we'll maybe recap Thursday, since we're going to that.
Yeah, going to
relatively
Thursday.
small
Yeah.
thing anyway, we got. I'm going to take a second, then we got time to BS.
So moving on, we got the Annihilators and John up.
Get there. See, there's one. We got 2 matchups left. One I don't even want to talk about, and 2 is almost like
I
fantasy
should
irrelevant.
talk about it.
I think collectively between the 2 teams, and no offense to either party involved, but you're looking at 141 points.
That's barely contention for
Yeah, that'd be a good game.
That's a good game for somebody.
for
Yeah.
one
for
team.
somebody. One
For
team.
one team.
So John pulls out the second win, second week in a row, via no Jordy Nelson. Insists on keeping it in his lineup. Got another goose egg, but still put all over win.
Why is and I can't figure out why he hasn't been in his lineup this. We'll talk about that later. Let's go.
He's in the 6th spot at 3-6. He's not completely out of it at 3-6. Especially, he's only 2 games behind me. I think he's a game behind Devin. Christine is sitting in the 5th spot at 4-5, and it's even more of a fight in the South.
Yeah.
That she has an option.
Yes.
Definitely have an option with 4 games up to. Excuse me.
She's
left to
in
go
there
to
with
get in there.
Brandon, Gordo, and herself for a 3-way tie.
There'd be a lot more to say about this game if the game didn't come down to 59-82, short of the fact that basically nobody showed up.
Except
for John Adolph.
Peyton was there and Roddy White was there. So
Yeah. Peyton was there.
How many points did Peyton show up?
Oh, and-
yeah, he didn't show up.
and Larry Fitzgerald was there.
Peyton didn't show up. He put up 19 points.
He had
Well,
2 picks.
Eli didn't show up. Eli put up 3. And here's the funny thing. Here's a stat for you. She's got
Had a bad run this year.
she's got 1, 2, 3 players that put up 3, and she's got 1, 2, 3 players that put up 8 in her starting lineup. She left 12 on the bench with Joe Flacco, but I would have
13 with Dwayne Bowe.
Oh yeah, I guess Bo put up 13 too. He'll probably make it in a respect. But again, it was one of those. He was being thrown to by Castle. We had that quarterback situation we were talking about last week. We didn't like the matchup of the Chargers. We figured they'd see some turnovers there, which there were between 31 points.
Keep going on it. Just
Hey, dude,
keep going.
I needed you to win. I'm kind of bitter about that one. Yeah, there's nothing really there. Larry Fitzgerald put up 20. He's been her kind of mainstay. Here's something though. McFadden, Percy Harvin, both injured in the game. McFadden, high ankle sprain. We know how those go, depending on how severe the high ankle sprain is.
They either wrap it up and keep running, or they're on the bench. That's the
Well,
only
no.
option.
High ankle sprain is usually you're out. It just depends on how many weeks you are out. Usually, I mean,
could be 2 weeks. Could be. I mean, look at Matt Forte, who had a high ankle sprain at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he might not finish the season.
Yeah.
All right. As far as our fantasy relevance, regular season finishing off in week 13, you've got 4 games left. And he could potentially be up 3 and come back for the last one, and then even then you're like, well, God, do I start him?
Yeah,
back after not playing.
Especially if you're on the cusp of hitting your playoff, you're like, do I put all my eggs in this basket, or do I go ahead and scramble them and have breakfast tomorrow?
Incidentally, I made
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Okay.
I've made trade offers to both you and Christy.
Yeah.
Try to just get some people to trade. I don't think anyone's made a single trade all year long at this point, and made a couple to her. One that included him. Not that I plan on playing him, but I'm trying to upgrade the wide receiver star. I'm trying to bolster possibly her team in the matchups he's got in a couple of weeks. But other than that, in this game, there's not really a whole lot looking at other than the fact that what's going on with Jordy Nelson and John?
I don't know.
That's you
He's got a new man crush?
Yeah, you got to have
Peyton Manning 2.0. Really. I mean, Jordy Nelson's one of his holdovers, if I'm correct.
But the thing is, he's even putting Dalton over Peyton Manning at some point. So, he just refuses to take
Just come on, Tom. Look at your lineup. Seriously.
And the killer is the next season he's winning with that, too. Back-to-back weeks.
Maybe that's why he's leaving me. He's like, it worked the first week. Oh, it's worked the second week. Let's go for the third.
He's going to make it.
Everybody else is getting it without a kicker. I'm going to do it.
Now we have
we have half a matchup.
We have, yeah.
So DK lost to some unknown guy.
Somebody that's not even in the state. You know,
lousies.
Yeah, you wouldn't know if you have everyone's text messages come Sunday, but
yeah. If Brandon has your phone number, you got the
block
text
him.
message. Yes.
Block him.
Matter of fact, we are sending you our bills for our text message overage for this month. Just
yeah, there were a lot.
Sell lots of Pepsi.
They're still going.
Yeah.
Well, the best is when he sends it because he starts off with the blanket one early in the day, and then it just keeps tagged down from there. And John was at work, and he's like, "Whatever." He's like, "I'm trying to work. My phone's like doing this off the table." He's like, "Stop it!" Let's call each other directly. Andrew Luck put up 31 points for him.
Good.
That goes against our. I think I got a board bet against that with the Andrew Luck versus Freeman, right, for the rest of the year.
No, we never.
No,
we did.
Well,
Kevin Hine did.
No, he didn't.
Because he said he was
He
Freeman for the rest of the year, and I said, no, I'll take Andrew Luck. I swear to God.
I think it was just on the quarterback option we talked about that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Luck had a good game. You know, does he continue from here?
I think he's going to get a great matchup Thursday night.
He's starting to hit Reggie Wayne a lot.
Well, that's his number one.
Yeah.
And there's not really a whole lot more to
I think he's starting to get that chemistry with the rest of the receiving core on there. And they're starting to show.
433. 433 and 2 touchdowns.
He said he put up the single
season rookie
best yards single game of rookie year.
Yeah, beat Cam Newton's record last year that was crushed it. And this is so he got a single season rookie passing.
He got a cookie.
He got a lot of cookies. 432
cookies. He can start a keyboard.
I think Redmond put up 25 points on Devin's bench.
Yep.
I wouldn't have been the deciding factor in the game.
Yeah, there was really.
He was with the way that Pittsburgh's backfield is beaten up right now.
Yeah.
He was their go-to guy. Now moving forward, people start getting healthier. I wouldn't want any part of having trying to make that decision-making process between
Rashard Mendenhall, Jonathan Dwyer, or Isaac
Redmond.
Redmond, because all three are outstanding backs.
But then again, if you're Pittsburgh's coach, and you're in playoff contention, you go with the guy that's producing for you.
Yeah, or
and that's the thing.
Everyone has a specific job that they're ideally suited for, and you use everybody.
Well, see, that's the thing. Rashard Mendenhall, Isaac Redmond, and Jonathan Dwyer, whenever they're put on the field, show up. They do their job, and they do it well. And right now, the thing with Tomlin is I'm not going to take one player over the other. I'm going to work them all. I'm going to put them in. And actually, if he just rotates them and they still get, split carries all the way down the line and they stay fresh throughout the game, I think the Steelers' run game is going to go skyrocketing. especially losing Antonio Brown to a sprain. And the only thing that's going to help is Emmanuel Sanders and Mike Wallace.
You've got Brandon for what we talked about, the kicker Juju, what I guess we have to call it. Didn't start a kicker. He was on a bye. Pulls off his win. Drew Brees puts up 15 points via his tight end that he was throwing to put up 21.
Yeah, Grant.
There's your PPR for you.
And then he has,
incidentally,
he has some guy that held the ball in his hands and ran with it a bunch.
I refuse to even like.
Yeah, we're not.
That person even played.
Although he did not beat the single season record. That's all I got to say.
It's held by who?
AP.
Yeah.
This guy.
For now.
Carson Palmer put up 33 points on his bench via Drew Brees putting up 15. I mean, more than doubled his starting quarterback. Obviously not going to put Brees on the bench, but I mean, Carson Palmer, nice showing. 27 points out of Broncos defense over the Packers 16 that they started. So, I mean, he actually left some points on the bench, believe it or not, with the 157 they put up. I guess we got to go there. And largely in part because last week on the podcast that we missed,
Yeah.
I was very adamant about the fact that although he broke it off on me with, I believe it was 43 points.
Yep.
From that,
40-something.
from his running back, from Martin. They lost their this blocking guard, and all the powers that be basically indicated that without this guard on the side that he likes to run to, his
He
numbers
shouldn't
were
be
just
able.
gonna
Yeah.
go. So not only did he do this, but really
Not only did they plummet, they did not plummet. They went skyrocketing.
251 yards,
Somebody
4 rushing
fucking
touchdowns.
And there were 3 huge rushing touchdowns. You got 45 yards, 67 yards, 70 yards. I mean, those are all bonus points, for your running back.
Those are obnoxious bonus points too. I mean, 5 and 6 point bonuses.
So does Doug Martin finish above Adrian Peterson
No.
in fantasy points scored by the season end? Right now, he's sitting at number 1, above Arian Foster, who was number 1 until last week. And
Rushing yard? Is it just on
fantasy points? Fantasy points.
He's got more fantasy points.
More fantasy points, standard scoring than Arian Foster, who was number 1, still above AP last week. Now, because of that, he's actually taken first place.
I'm going to bite the bullet and say, yeah, he does.
It's different.
I don't know. I'd have to look at it before I made a decision.
Yeah.
Just to see what the point difference is on all of them.
I think without a doubt, with the points he already has, he's going to finish in the top 10. Whether he finishes in the top 5 is going to be questionable, and if AP kind of stays consistent. I just don't see him doing those numbers anymore.
Chris Johnson keeps running. He's going to be in that.
But he's done it
mix.
he's done it
I
twice.
think he'll be in that mix too. I think he'll never be top 7. He might be top.
I may actually have to hold on to him next year.
Doug Martin's done it twice.
Well, what's
He's
going to
put
hurt
up
you is
monster numbers twice this season. So, and AP, I mean, we looked at this earlier. I mean, he's got,
400 plus games.
games, and he is leading, I believe, the NFL in rushing.
He's got 950 something rushing, 957 rushing.
Just short of 1,000 yards. But again, we are talking about overall fantasy points.
Yeah.
And when you hit those bonuses, for those long runs, that
that just
AP's only
racks
had
up.
one long run for a touchdown, so far this year.
Chris had a long one, 80 yards. That was nice.
AP also pitches the ball in the backfield, which stuff.
Yeah.
I always liked about him.
But you had Martin 21 yards receiving this week.
That's not a whole. How many receptions? 4.
Well,
Yeah, that's
they
not a whole lot.
They had to respect the run after they put up 4 touchdowns.
And I'll pull this up. Okay, AP the same week only pulled up 11 yards off 3 receptions.
So he's averaging a little over 3 yards, a little under 4, so 3.7 yards.
Here's the other kicker.
But that was last week. So
Other than Arian Foster, it's a foregone conclusion as a first-round pick next year. Marshawn Lynch, for sure. Adrian Peterson, for sure. Here are your other ones that are now going to get thrust into where everyone got them for mad props. Your AP that you got in what? Second round?
Round 5.
Round 5?
Yeah.
That was round 4. Round 5?
Round 5.
AP now back into the first round. Marshawn Lynch into the first round. Doug Martin into the first round. And I think was Doug Martin a rookie this year?
Not that I know of.
I know it was close to go. If it wasn't his first year, it was second year. That's something to look at. But here's the thing: he may get him as the first year. Yeah.
Rookie.
He's going to
Wow.
get him. Now, granted, he jumped to pick him because I took Trent Richardson, and
Yeah.
that was one somebody that he wanted. So he made the moved up about two rounds to grab Doug Martin, because that was someone I was also looking at. I thought he would grab him a little bit early, and he didn't play out the first part of the year because he was averaging about 12 points a game. But he moved up and took him, so now he's going to get him. If he goes in the first round, he'll get him in like the fourth, I want to say, something like that. Looking at Thursday's matchup, we've got Indianapolis and Jacksonville. You have some obvious starts. You got Andrew Luck, Reggie Wayne. One's Devin's, one's mine. Rashad Jennings, I'm going to put in my lineup because I've got some buys there I need to adjust for. Cecil Shorts on your end. Barflies, Adam Vinatieri. John.
That's his kicker.
MJD, obviously, he's still jacked up, so he's not really an option for him. Chargers defense, I picked up after you dropped them after their performance last week. And I don't like them going forward. They're my backup defense, but I still got to start the Pats over them. So
and Pats have looks like a smooth matchup this week.
Yeah, Buffalo, but Buffalo's still running that ball pretty good.
Yeah, but I think Pat's offense can handle them. We've had a week to prepare for Buffalo, and I think we can handle Buffalo.
Y'all didn't prepare for them. Y'all took a nap. Y'all are going to be well rested.
Trudy, she's got Ballard and Allen. Allen doesn't look like she has any room in a starting lineup that would be a better option for her, but Ballard does look like he's going to play for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ballard, I think Ballard is her cover for Jamal Charles, who took that nasty hit last week, and they took him out of the game.
He's not getting the carries.
No, they've gone.
They're not getting the ball.
When Castle came back in, well, last week he took a hit.
It was five carries.
Five carries, 9 points. Last week he had 3 carries, 8 points. But he took a nasty hit, and they pulled him to the sideline, checked for concussion, took him back to doing MRI on his neck to make sure everything, because he had neck pains. It wasn't even a concussion. He just hit wrong. And they went ahead and held him out for the rest of the game.
So what you're trying to say is the Chargers defense were a pain in his neck?
Yeah, pretty much.
But, for
their defense was a pain in my
Trudy going forward, and this is we're going to kind of look at this, in the next segment, though. I mean, and I just pulled this up. She's got Matt Stafford going for a quarterback against. They're at Minnesota, playing at the Dome, which is going to be tough for them. And
I don't think she has her lineup set up all the way. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying this is what's up there. But you got Ben Roethlisberger hosting Kansas City on her bench.
Yeah, but the problem with that is once they get up, they're going to control the clock and they're going to run the ball. Ben's not going to put up 300 yards. Not going to do it.
Let's definitely revisit this.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that. I think
the next segment.
The Vikings defense on a decline, but that's not, I think, going to be the deciding factor.
They're playing in the Dome.
So,
and that is their
12th man.
Yeah, it does get low.
Which, the Vikings need it. So, he's going to hate on the Cowboys all week long. So, hey, stick around. We'll be back with probably touch a little bit more on Thursday's matchup and go into next week's matchup. So
there'll be some touching.
I've got bubbles.
He's going to do some touching. He's got bubbles. I'm just worried about – get off me. I'm just worried about beer and football. Come back.